The table for 8 sat empty. Except for me. Gold and silver congratulations balloons bobbed lazily against the ceiling fan, casting strange shadows across the white tablecloth. 2 hours and 17 minutes since I'd arrived. My phone remained silent, except for the occasional ping from the restaurant's Wi-Fi connecting and disconnecting. "Would you like to order now, or are you still waiting?" the server asked for the 4th time, sympathy edging into impatience. I smiled politely. Just 5 more minutes. But 5 minutes turned into 20, then an hour. They weren't coming. Soft instrumental pause. Faint violin. "My name is Sophie Lang, 32 years old, founder and CEO of Lang Estates, one of the fastest-growing luxury hotel chains in the country. To the world I was a success story. To my family, I was an inconvenience. An embarrassment who worked too much, spoke too little, and forgot where she came from. But I hadn't forgotten. I just refused to stay there. It started when my father's business collapsed. I was 17. One day he wore tailored suits. The next, he was begging relatives for loans. My mother's voice changed overnight. Every word dipped in regret and resentment. While my younger sister, Jennifer, became their new hope. Sweet, pretty, perfectly poised. Became the shadow. The girl who worked nights at a cheap hotel while attending business classes by day. "You're wasting your youth, Sophie," my mother used to sigh. "No man wants a woman who's married to her work." She wasn't wrong. No one wanted me. But work did. And that was enough. 15 years later, I owned 7 hotels across the country. Each one precise, elegant, unshakable. Marble floors, oak interiors, staff who moved like poetry. The newest one, the Rosewood Palace, was my masterpiece. A glass-walled jewel overlooking the city skyline. It was supposed to be the night I revealed it to the world. The night my family would finally see what I'd built. But fate had other plans. One Sunday afternoon my phone rang. It was my mother. Cheerful, rehearsed. "Sophie, darling. You'll never believe it. Jennifer's engaged." I smiled faintly. "That's wonderful, Mom. She's marrying Preston Hale. You know, from the Hale family. They own Hale Investments." Course I knew. They'd once tried to acquire one of my hotels. And failed. "She's so lucky," my mother continued. "They're hosting the wedding at a 5-star hotel. What's it called again?" "The Rosewood Palace. Isn't that near your office?" Pause. "Yes, it's near my office." "Well, you should come early that day," she chirped. "Maybe help with the setup or something. We'll be so busy." Brief pause. Faint chuckle of disbelief. I didn't correct her. I didn't say that the Rosewood Palace wasn't near my office. It was my office. My property. My design. My empire. The next few weeks were surreal. Emails about the Hale-Lang wedding filled my inbox. Requests for ballroom access. Design approvals. All from my own staff. And every signature, mine, sitting quietly at the bottom of each document. They never noticed, 'cause they never looked. The night before the wedding, I arrived at Rosewood quietly. My general manager, Marcus, greeted me with a small smile. "Everything's ready, Ms. Lang," he said. "The Hales and the Langs checked in this afternoon. No issues." "Good," I said softly. "Make sure they're comfortable." He hesitated. "They still don't know." "No," I said. "And they don't need to." This wasn't revenge that shouted. This was revenge that watched. Silent, patient, elegant. The morning of the wedding, sunlight poured into the grand ballroom. Crystal chandeliers glittered above hundreds of guests. White roses climbed up gold arches. Jennifer looked radiant, all smiles and nerves and silk. Dad held her arm proudly. Mom dabbed her eyes with the kind of tears that tasted like achievement. From my suite, high above it all, I watched them through the tinted glass. The owner's suite. A place they didn't even know existed. Below, they celebrated in a world I'd built. Every inch of it carried my name, my design, my effort. And they had no idea. As vows were exchanged, I watched through the quiet hum of the security feed. Jennifer promised forever. Preston's voice shook. The guests applauded. And somewhere in that applause, I felt something strange. Not pride. Not anger. Just peace. Because they didn't need to know I was the owner. Their ignorance was my invisibility cloak. And I wore it like silk. That night, as the reception unfolded, Marcus texted me updates. Guests are raving. Your mother said it's the best hotel she's ever seen. Everything's perfect. Course it was. 'Twas mine. I watched through the glass as laughter filled the hall below. They toasted love, family, beginnings. And I realized something. I didn't belong to that circle anymore. Built my own. Around midnight there was a knock at my door. 3 soft knocks. Hesitant. I already knew who it was. When I opened it, my mother stood there, clutching her purse like a shield. Her voice was small. Sophie. Can I come in? He nodded. She stepped inside, eyes wide, scanning the suite, the skyline view, the art, the marble. I didn't know this existed, she whispered. It doesn't, I said calmly. This is the owner's suite. Her breath caught. The owner's suite. Yes, I said. This hotel is mine. Pause. Faint emotional piano enters. For a moment there was only silence. You let us have the wedding here, she finally asked. Yes. Why didn't you tell us? I looked at her, voice steady. Would it have changed anything? She faltered. We would have been proud. I smiled faintly. No, Mum. You would have been shocked. Pride comes from understanding. And you never tried to understand me. Tears welled in her eyes. We made a mistake. Yes, I said gently. You did. Can we fix it? No, I whispered. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. Just remembered. She reached out, hesitating. But I stepped back, not in anger. In peace. I'm glad you came, I said softly. But this doesn't change the past. Her lips trembled. I'm sorry. I know. Pause, wind through glass sound. When she left, the suite fell silent again. Only the hum of the city below. For years, I'd wanted them to see me. To recognize what I'd become. But now, I realized I didn't need their eyes. I'd built something that existed with or without their approval. And that was enough. 2 weeks later, Forbes ran a feature. The woman behind the Rosewood Empire. They called me the Silent Storm. The self-made CEO who hosted her sister's wedding in her own luxury hotel. The story went viral. Headlines called it, the classiest revenge in corporate history. I didn't comment. I didn't post. I didn't even share it. Because real power doesn't announce itself. Just exists. Months passed. Jennifer moved abroad. My parents tried to reconnect. Small messages, awkward calls. I responded kindly. But distantly. There was no bitterness left. Only clarity. Sometimes, forgiveness isn't saying it's okay. It's simply accepting that it happened, and letting go. On the first anniversary of the hotel's opening, I returned to the ballroom at sunset. It was empty now. Well, peaceful. The faint smell of roses lingered. Jennifer's favorite. I stood where she'd said her vows. Where I'd once stood invisible, watching from above.